Welcome, Mike. I'm looking forward to having this chat today. For those that don't know, Mike is my husband and also an entrepreneur in his own right. So we've got a few other things going on together and on our own. But we thought it might be good to get together and have a bit of a chat about what's going on in the B2B sales and marketing space, how we're collaborating together, and how we're on this journey and what we're seeing and all that kind of stuff.
And it's such a journey, isn't it?
It really is a
We've
journey.
really worked it out,
Yes.
or trying to work out from marketing right through to sales, which we'll get into a
Mm.
little bit more today, I think.
And we're definitely solving some pretty big problems for people right now. That actually started by solving a big problem for my business in the first instance, right?
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about sort of how Blackjet started,
Yes.
and then we can flow from there.
Okay, sure. So it really started in um 2020, but that came off the back of a previous business that I had. So I started a food manufacturing business. Actually, it was my third or fourth business at that point, but food manufacturing business in 2017, sold that in 2019. And that food manufacturing business was built on social media, built a big following, 18,000 followers, that kind of stuff, showed up online all the time. And while it wasn't a massive exit in 2019, it just taught me so much about social media. And then we all know what happened March 2020.
I was going to say, you started at quite an interesting time.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. But how it happened was that our friends and family started asking me, we saw what you did on social media. Can you please help us? And so I started a social media freelancing business. Um, Ended up doing social media for a whole bunch of different types of businesses, product, service, things like that. Did it for your recruitment business
You did actually, yeah.
as well. So,
Yep.
so through COVID times. Were you going to jump in there?
No, I was just going
Oh,
to say that you did. I think, well, you started working for us, and then the business really took off,
mm-hmm.
so I couldn't keep you.
Yeah. so we so we got to the point where we were this social media agency. It was about 2023 or late 2022, and had figured out that we really suited working in service-based businesses for social media. And early 2023, we started playing around with AI. It was the launch of ChatGPT, and I remember being on an airplane to Brisbane with the family for a holiday, and I spent that whole duration of that flight playing with ChatGPT for the first time, and I felt like I had rewired my brain. It was crazy. So started incorporating AI 2023. Also realized at that point that 1/3 of our clients were professional services and specifically financial advisors. So started to niche into that market at that point. Um, and went through big changes in 2023 in terms of the team and the structure and the learnings of the business.
Because I know that. Tell us a bit about the. I know you made some changes around what the business was doing. Tell us about what your clients were asking for when you were giving them social media services, and
Mm,
how that kind of transformed the business again. Because it was, business is constantly changing.
mm.
That's just the nature of it.
So we had social media only clients, didn't do digital ads, still don't do digital ads. Personally, don't believe in digital ads, find them to be such a scattergun approach. But we did have our social media clients saying to us, we really want more leads. And social media is great for brand awareness and authority and trust and all that stuff, but it's really hard to generate leads for professional services from organic social media.
And especially as B2B, I think it's worth.
Yes,
This is
B2B,
all B2B. B2C is quite different.
for sure. And at that time, keeping in mind that we had started to play with AI, I was starting to play with lead generation tools and processes and systems using AI to start generating leads for our business. I had employed a salesperson. We were doing cold calling. That was really hard work and it did not work. We were also selling social media only at that time. So it was a pretty hard sell. People wanted more leads. Business was really changing.
Mm.
What we ended up doing was building a AI-based sales and marketing machine that generated leads for Blackjet, for my business. And I remember the moment that I knew we were onto something was in late 2023 when we sold like 5 deals in 6 weeks as a result of what we had built. And we no longer needed to have a salesperson doing cold calling. And we had replaced a whole bunch of functions within the business with AI. And it was a momentous moment where we were sitting together. I was saying to you, look, I'm finding social media really hard to sell, and people need it. They know that they need it, but they actually ultimately want leads in this B2B space. And you actually said to me, hey, well, you know what you've built for your business. Why don't you package that up and sell that to your clients? And I was like, oh my goodness.
And then it became that 3-pronged approach, didn't it? I remember speaking about it at the time.
Yeah, so it's a mix of the system is a mix of outreach, so outreaching to the ideal clients, nurturing them through the process. So if it's not a hell yes right now, it's a yes in the future. So how does the CRM and the system and
we're going to touch on that, but that's the thing that everyone forgets about. Just throwing that out there.
Is the long-term game.
100%.
Yeah. And then the third part being the social media part, which is still super important. And then there's the automation and the AI and all the other secret sauce behind it, along with dashboards and data.
And the social media does work, because I don't want to underplay that, because I remember when you did it for us, I walked into a client meeting and they literally said to me, your videos are great. I feel like I already know you, as I sat down to sell to them, which was a pretty cool feeling. So
and we get that all the time.
Yeah.
We've got another client in social media who said that they always turn up to events and everyone knows who they are.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now, is that we've built this B2B sales and marketing system, utilizing humans and AI, sales psychology, marketing psychology, which is why you've ended up here, is that sales psychology piece. We're going to get into that, but tell us about your journey.
It was interesting. I was just thinking before, and I will do it in chronological order. But one thing for me, I love sales, and I've always been in sales, but I've never thought that I was that good a salesperson, which I know sounds really strange, but therefore I've always had to rely on the system, the sales system. I was trained quite technically in sales, and I didn't ever feel like I was the greatest at being that hardcore salesperson, which I actually think is irrelevant in this day and age anyway. So I got really, really good at following the system that I was taught and sticking to it rigidly and relying on that. So I
think it works too, right?
Yeah, totally.
You ended up having some pretty good successes through your sales career.
Yeah, totally.
Continue to, sorry.
And I still find that I probably prefer the sales coaching and teaching other people even more than doing it myself. I can do it myself, but I really love setting people up for success. Just gives me a real sort of sense of personal purpose and pride.
So take us back.
So how far back do you want to go? I always go back to, just to set the scene, because I think we're all unique humans and individuals, and I'm definitely in that unique. Me and the kids talk about, oh, that person's weird, and I always say, well, we're all weird, and I'm definitely weird. So I went to uni because I felt I had to. I struggled through and managed to find a few papers that I could pass, and managed to pass in the end, and managed to graduate. Didn't love it, but did it. I then felt like I needed a real job, and I wanted to be like my dad and wear a suit and tie. So I sort of was researching, and recruitment looked like a good, pretty easy thing. Interview a few people, read a few CVs, bit of admin, write a few things up. I then found out what recruitment actually was, and I met my first boss, and he basically said, look, it's all sales. It's an opportunity to make decent money. You got to not be afraid of charging lots of money for what you do, but you also deliver a really great service. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. This is awesome. I was 21, I think, and had the opportunity to just really go for it. So my first job at Hayes was that traditional sales coaching. That's where I was taught. And it definitely was the boiler room atmosphere. There were hours that we had to be on the phones. I remember playing games where you couldn't sit down until you had made your 30 calls that morning. Um, would I've had to unlearn some of that stuff. I don't think that's the future or the now.
It's definitely a different environment, and I think you've changed a lot since then too.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
but
But
it
some of it
worked.
was a good grounding.
Yes.
The structure works.
Mm. I remember when I met you, which wasn't that long after you started in your recruitment career, telling me about the core hours and me being a bit shocked by that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were
yeah,
chained to the phone, make sure
yeah.
you get those results. And
I remember
anyway, we're not here to talk about that,
I was
but
told off for going to get a coffee at 10:05.
right,
Anyway,
gotcha.
yeah.
Naughty. So you had your traditional recruitment slash sales training.
Yep.
Yeah. And if I'm leading the conversation a little bit here, you decided to go out on your own and start your own recruitment business.
Yeah, basically, fast forward to 2013, and our daughter was 3 months old, and you were at home, and we had no income. So I thought, what better time to go out and leave my job and go and give it a go myself.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Which it worked. We were actually just coming out of the GFC, so the timing was just lucky. I didn't know that it was going to be pulling out, but it did. And I started just by myself for a few years. Naturally grew. I mean, in business, it always went up and down in terms of people. Over the sort of 10 years that I've been doing it, we peaked at about 12 people, and so ran quite a good size business and learnt lots throughout that. Um, I personally believe recruitment's one of the hardest businesses to be a salesperson in and hardest to be a sales manager in, for a whole host of reasons that I don't really need to go into today. But it's definitely setting myself up for what we're trying to do now. In terms of, I look at all of our clients' businesses and I just think actually the sales process is pretty simple.
Sure.
Compared to
recruitment.
recruitment.
The B2B sales process, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's generally the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I then about a year ago decided to change in lifestyle. It was pretty hard going, just being sole director and just being me.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to have the opportunity to pick up the kids and go to their sports practices. And so I did that. I downsized the business and took the opportunity to do that, which has been amazing. And I'll digress one point, I think, in terms of what we do, and I always say it to the sort of slightly smaller businesses, but also the bigger businesses, is just that time aspect. I was talking to a potential client the other day about how what we do can work in the background while you go and pick up your kids, and that's actually an amazing feeling. I just sat down this morning before we jumped on here and went through my outreach, which I've got for a number of different businesses and different ventures, and I think there are 2 to 3 meetings just landed in my inbox.
It's so beautiful.
And
how you can be doing those things like dropping the kids off this morning and 3 opportunities have been created.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a couple of points there. One, I think we should talk about the purpose of why we're doing what we're doing and why Blackjet does what it does. But also, there was something else that came up for me, which is
the last part of my story.
Which is the part about, that's where I was going, was that you're still recruiting.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
And you're still, and then you've built how did we end up sitting side by side in terms of you jumping into Blackjet and helping us with the sales systems, coaching, that kind of stuff?
There's a few points there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
One point, as husband and wife, we're both entrepreneurs, we've resisted the urge to work together, but we've both got extremely complementary and different skills, which we'll get into. And it's working, which is really exciting. But I have spent the last year recruiting, but also I have a love-hate relationship with the recruitment industry, and I just feel it can be done better. I always have. There's something a bit broken, there's something a bit wrong with it. But fast forward, I started to look at a lot of AI, a lot of automation in the recruitment sector, and I really felt that basically recruitment's all done wrong and we should be.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, it is. This isn't about recruitment, but we should be talent pooling and getting warm talent ready to go before we need them, before we recruit, so that then those people are dead keen to jump on board when your role arises, as opposed to running around scrambling when someone resigns or when a new opportunity comes.
Can you just, for the people in the back, just break down talent pooling, what you mean by that? And you're talking about we as in your clients, the companies
Yep.
that are looking to recruit in the future.
So in business, you pretty much always need to recruit. Someone might leave, you might grow, and usually you actually can predict it, to be fair. People often come to me and go, I need to hire, I didn't see it coming. But you actually, there are telltale signs. So the talent pooling is essentially, say if you're an accountancy firm, 90% of your hires are going to be accountants. So wouldn't you want to have a network of people in that 2 to 10 year experience range locally that you've had coffee with, they're really interested in your company, you don't have a role with them, but you understand them, they understand what you're all about, and then when a role comes up.
They're hungry. They're keen to jump on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been waiting.
Yeah.
In the sideline.
Yeah.
People call it, what do they call it? Talent bench.
Yeah. And it's a bit of matchmaking, It's not a straightforward process.
And so you've ended up inserting AI and automation into the recruitment process and building out a talent engine solution and system, which is very similar to a lead generation system.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we landed.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at ways to evolve the business, and then I came and said to you, what I'm trying to create is extremely similar to what you're doing.
What I've already built.
There's no point in, not that we're competing, but there's no point in trying to solve these problems by ourselves. And it's better to use complementary skills.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for a bunch of leads, you create you look at your target audience, you work out who they are, you work out the messaging or the approach. It is no different to targeting a pool of talent and approaching them and connecting with them and taking them, nurturing them through the process and keeping in touch. There's zero difference.
No difference. And then also the interesting thing about recruitment is that recruitment is a two-pronged approach where you're looking for new clients, lead generation, BD, and you're looking for new talent, new candidates.
Yep.
And so you've done it in both areas of,
Yep.
of the recruitment businesses. Now also looking to help other recruitment businesses do exactly that.
Yep.
In the meantime, jumping in and helping Blackjet clients with those learnings too. So
that brings us to the here and now.
and also the purpose too, which our stories kind of lead into that.
Yeah.
A big thing for me is creating a really stable business. So my business is recurring revenue, very stable, very systemized. Everything in the business is stable. And that allows me as a business owner to be able to, and also my team. So one of our core values is own your flight path, where something comes up and things come up in life and business where you need to go and have an emergency dentist appointment or, go and be with a sick loved one, whatever it is that you need to do. And so Blackjet has been built that way so that there is that freedom of time, freedom of mind. Yes, sure, there is hard work, but there's that autonomy. And so we've built a system around that for us. You've built a system around recruitment for you so that we could have our lifestyle of being able to drop off the kids and pick up the kids. Not saying that everything is super chill either, though, and that we've got it licked. There's still those real hard moments in the business.
That's a whole nother chat.
But the purpose comes back to, well, if we've built this for us, I want other people to feel that, to have that, to achieve those goals. So what we're seeing in the conversations that we're having now with both prospective clients and existing clients is just identifying what those goals are for you.
Mm.
So there'll be those people out there who are looking to have more freedom of time, of money, and have automation doing things for them so that they can do other things. But then there's also going to be those businesses that want to smash and work really hard and smash their revenue goals.
Mm.
So they want to 10x what they're doing right now. So this system works for both the people who want to just 10x their time. Anyway.
You're right. I mean, it's basically, yes, lead gen and ultimately increasing revenue and profitability is what we want for our clients. But what they really get is those feelings that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And being in business for a wee while, that's actually the ultimate. Is it the feeling of achieving success, which is a great feeling?
Mm.
Is it the feeling of that freedom of time and money? Super, super important to some people. Whatever it is, this is what the system actually gives you.
And is it, I want to have a smaller team, but a tighter team and utilizing their core skills more. So I can replace some of those more mundane tasks with AI and automation.
And that leads us into the sales process a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm jumping the gun,
Go for it.
but how I was taught to do what I call a 360 sales process.
Mm-hmm.
So I did everything from my personal brand through to cold calls to business development, lead generation, closing, the sales admin, and this was on candidate and client side. Whereas my whole viewpoint is that should be chopped up for different skill sets. That actually the AI and the automation does a lot of the grunt work, the lead gen, and that if you're looking to hire a salespeople person, it should be more around a closer or a relationship builder.
Which is why I built the system that I did, because I am not a salesperson inherently. Very happy to build relationships and meet with people. So I built it so that it could do all of that work for me, and all I had to do was to just turn up and meet with them, make sure they're in alignment. Are we going to work together? Do our core values match? Great, let's do it.
And I love taking them from a hint of interest, just a tiny bit of interest, through to the point that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found, we'll get into it, but that's a point that clients think they're good at, but they're not really. It's actually a lot harder than it sounds to take them from interest through to that discovery call, the first meeting.
So where are we going to go now?
We've jumped around a bit.
Oh no, I think we're good. Are we going to talk about the problems that we're seeing in the B2B sales and marketing space, like the trends, or do we want to talk about what we're actually doing, like where to go?
Well, I think they're one and the same.
And also the other thing that's coming up for me is reverse engineering, which I am a big fan of. We've spoken about goals.
I think we should go through the process
Mm-hmm.
because, again, with our complementary skills, we've worked out the gaps. We talk about the gaps with a few clients. And as we go through the marketing, we should talk about how marketing and sales come together as well.
Mm-hmm.
There are a whole lot of micro processes. And to the reverse engineering, me enjoying sales but not being the greatest salesperson, I always just look back and go, where is it breaking down? And how can we fix that part?
Yeah.
As opposed to it's all broken.
So we can touch on the sales and marketing funnel almost, and the reverse engineering to your point of finding the holes.
Let's go through it and then we'll reverse it.
Yeah, or almost like go from the bottom and work our way up, because what do we want to achieve? Okay, so we want to let's just say we want to have 2 new high value clients a month.
We also work out why, but that's what we were alluding to before.
Yes.
There's no point in saying 2 new clients if there's nothing behind it.
So that might be a revenue goal, or it might be keeping status quo in terms of volume in the business, or...
We've also talked to clients who want the business before they take on a new salesperson, which is really exciting. So you can actually turn this on for 6 months and then give your new salesperson a whole bunch of leads.
Beautiful. You can also make sure that all of that information and data is maintained and kept within the business for when that salesperson does leave as well.
Yes, because they will.
They will. Yeah, and you want to hold on to that IP as the business. We're digressing. Let's talk about reverse engineering, which I think is going to lead us to like the top and how we get these people into the system. So we've got, let's just say we want to have, you're probably better at this than me because this is the sales piece, 2 new clients a month.
Mm-hmm.
We then need to work out what the conversion rate is on discovery calls or the next stage or whatever it is. So let's just say in B2B sales, it's a proposal presentation or something like that.
Yeah, the typical, I suppose we'll go back, but just to go forward a little bit, the typical process is you get a lead, you have a discovery call, then you have a proposal meeting where you present your solution, and then you have a new client.
Yeah,
It's
contract.
not as simple as that, but that's the process.
Sure.
So you're right. You basically, it's all about working out your ratios, and you will have data on this. And we talk to a lot of clients. Oh, I think we do this. Yeah, that's cool. But have a look at what you actually do, because it might surprise you. If you new business, say you don't have data, you can guesstimate. But as soon as you can shift to real data, it's much, much better. So your hit rate might be from proposal meeting to clients. I'd say you'd want to be aiming for sort of 80%. If you got to that point, kind of sucks if you don't convert, to be fair. And then say your discovery meeting to proposal might be a 60% conversion, and then your lead or point of interest through the discovery call, you might convert, I don't know, say 50%. Then you basically work back from your 2 new clients a month as to how many proposal meetings, discovery meetings, and leads you need. The beauty of this is it's all levers. So say it then spits out, you need 20 leads a month. I don't know if that's accurate, but as an example, there are 2 different ways to increase or get to your 2 clients. You either increase the leads, or you increase the ratios along the way, or both, ideally.
You can only do that if you've got the data.
100%. But then you work back, and this leads into the marketing. Okay, we want 20 leads a month. Well, how do we do that? Don't leave it at that and go, okay, Mr. Salesperson, go get 20 leads, because I can't swear on this, can I? How do you do it?
Yeah. Also, just very briefly, ensuring that we're identifying where it's dropping out. So there's different, we've already touched on this, there's different skill sets along that specific sales process that you're talking about there, because they might be really good at getting all the way out to the proposal presentation, but they can't close.
Yeah.
So therefore, just knowing that information is really important. And that's one of the problems that we're solving at the moment.
And I always say there's, hopefully I'll get them right, 3, maybe 4 reasons why it might be falling over at a certain stage. One might be the market, which you actually can't do a heck of a lot about unless you change the vertical you're in or adjust what you're doing. 2 is your service or product not being that good, which is a bigger problem.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Or it could be the salesperson's technical training. That's actually an easy one, as long as the salesperson acknowledges that and takes on the feedback.
Yeah.
Or it could be the salesperson's motivation and attitude, which can be helped sometimes. Sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. But it literally has to be one of those 4 things.
And most of that is coachable.
Or you can adjust.
Yes. Great.
Even the first 2, you can adjust.
And so we've got to that point of knowing the number of leads that we need to generate to be able to achieve the goals. Now we get to reverse engineer in the marketing section. Yeah. So we call that a sales qualified lead at that point. When it's going over to the sales team, we call that an SQL or a sales qualified lead. We now need to reverse engineer because that's at the bottom of the funnel. And there's some things that we can measure ahead of them becoming a sales qualified lead that will turn them into and opportunity. We'll get them there. And we call that the nurture section. Now, I am going backwards here, and I actually think I'm going to start from the top because it's easier to explain it. With marketing at the top of the funnel, we're looking at things like social media and brand awareness. Very, very important. How many new eyeballs can we be getting how many new eyeballs are we getting on our content? And are we seeing engagement, and are people resonating with that content? Do we look alive, which is a big thing in B2B, because quite often we'll see social media where we'll go on to the company page and they haven't posted in 5 months. So is this business even alive? Particularly at the moment, right? Where we're seeing a big shift in what's happening. So top of funnel, social media. And then there's this really big, and all the other traditional media bits and pieces as well, right? Whatever you choose there. I'm a big fan of cheap, easy, guerrilla marketing type content. Like, where can you be seen and be out there? And personal brand is another big one. Then you've got outreach. Now, outreach traditionally can be lots of different ways.
And is that sales or is that marketing?
Oh, it's an intersection because there's sales psychology around that outreach. So what I mean by outreach is...
But it replaces the cold calls, doesn't it?
Well, I was going to say cold calling is a type of outreach.
Yep, true.
Yeah?
True, yeah.
Depends on where you are, depends on lots of other things, but activating databases is another way of outreaching. The one that we're the biggest fan of right now, particularly in the B2B space, is LinkedIn outreach.
Why is that?
There's lots of different ways that you can do LinkedIn outreach. We've developed our own system and methodology around that. But LinkedIn, people are there to be educated. They're open to networking. It's no longer just a CV platform. It's and we get really targeted and really specific when we're looking in LinkedIn on who we want to speak to. So let's just say we want to speak to all directors of recruitment companies. And sorry, we're just in this recruitment space right now. But I want to speak to all directors of recruitment companies throughout Australasia. Boom. So easy to...
Can you target it even further than that?
Yeah, well, you're the one who's very good at this as well. And because of the recruitment sourcing experience. And then we've also got people on our team like Claudia, who's amazing at pulling lists and finding those people. And that is such a unique skill to be able to find the right people.
Different skill set again.
And we do that, yeah. And we do that utilizing a whole bunch of different technologies and AI and tools and stuff. It's not just Sales Navigator, for example. So we can talk about outreach, I guess, but that's that top of funnel piece, is how do we have more conversations with more people in a coldish, warmish kind of way, because they're cold at that point.
And it's interesting you say conversations.
Conversations, relationships, asking questions, engagement.
This is all on LinkedIn. Messaging.
Yeah, or the social media and all the other parts.
Yep.
But being human as well. So yeah, okay, it might be kicked off by an AI or an automation, but there's a human element to it too. And or how can we make it look like it's a human? And I've jumped on so many discovery calls or sales calls with prospective clients. I've also sat down in a coffee shop with someone having a coffee and said, oh, so this is how we generate leads for our clients. We use LinkedIn outreach, we send a direct message, and it's our AI that activates it in the first instance. And they've looked at me and gone, are you serious? What do you mean? That wasn't you? Or I'll say, you do realize that we're on this call as a result of my AI as an automation doing the heavy lifting?
That's quite a powerful sales tool, isn't it?
Because then they're literally just like, okay, I want that. Sign me up. Mic drop. Yeah, it's amazing. So there's that top piece, and also your CRM part in
Mm.
there too, because every opportunity, every contact that the business has exposure to needs to be going in there. So it's a phone call that, as a result of a radio ad that you've run,
Mm.
or you go to a networking event and you have a conversation with someone and you meet them, you get their email address. That needs to go into the database. And I am so passionate about databases because it becomes an asset that has, you can pull levers against it. You can also attribute dollars
Mm.
to a database.
Mm.
2 points, and just interrupt me here because I'm going to get passionate. But there's 2 points to that. One, it does become an asset that the business sells in the future. So if you've got a database of 3,000, 30,000 people, and we know that through the second part of the funnel, the nurturing part, in because we've got the data, if we know that in 6, 12, 18 months' time, a percentage of those contacts become deals,
Mm.
you can literally attribute a dollar value to every single contact that you've got in that database.
Talk to us a bit more about the databases, because there's a database and there's a database.
Mm-hmm.
In recruitment, we talk a lot about a graveyard of candidates in a database, which is a little bit useless.
Mm.
Data that's old, irrelevant, not kept up to date. Can you talk us about the difference between a database, a list of people, and a highly, I guess I'm answering the question, but coded, like,
Or do you just want to carry on
okay,
there? Yeah.
you can have a list of people, or you can have it coded and targeted by personas, by industry, by location, by turnover, by anything you want, really. And that's when it starts to become powerful.
Or to interrupt there, or in insurance, for example, B2B insurance, when is their renewal date?
Exactly. Because then your nurture messaging is all around who you're actually speaking to.
Mm.
And to your point, it's using the AI and the automation with a human touch. And that's what it comes down to.
Mm.
So I had a question, which is not on your prep list, so I'm going to throw it at you. But you've built something from, and we're constantly improving, from brand and marketing right through essentially to the client closing the deal, which is quite wide. What makes that different to the other options out there, the sort of off the shelf options, or what makes it unique?
First of all, it's incredibly hard to replicate what we have replicated. You could, so we've got a mix of humans and highly skilled team members mixed with the AI. And there is no way that you could go to your in house marketing person and there is no way they would be able to replicate this system from woe to go. And throw in a salesperson too. They wouldn't be able to do that. What else makes us unique is that it's a done for you
Hmm.
solution. So, yes, there is a requirement from our clients to be on board and be on the journey with us and step up when we need them to step up and be there and do this in partnership with us. But every single time we do something for one of our clients or we do it for ourselves, which keeping in mind that's how all of this started, was we've built it for us first, we've done the learnings, we've spent the money. Every time we find something that works better, we
Hmm.
insert it into the system. So it's constantly evolving and iterating.
Because AI learns, doesn't it?
AI learns, humans learn, 20, 30 years, 15 years of experience from different team members. Every time we bring that in, it adds value to the system. What do you see as being the unique factor?
I think there's a couple of points. I think your teams, and I talked about the marketing team, we run strategy sessions with the clients. And this is what you built the business on.
Mm.
And it's extracting the information from the client. And it's something we haven't touched on. but it goes right through the process, not talking about what you do, but talking about the problem that you solve for your client.
You're so right, because I think that is probably one of Blackjet's secret sauce abilities, is the ability to ask really, really good quality questions of our clients and deeply understand what it is about them that makes them unique, and extract that information and then have that rolling across, whether that's their social or the problem that they solve through their outreach, so that it's this very emotionally driven solution.
Mm.
Mm.
Then I think it's the sales psychology.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn is fairly saturated with messaging, but our messaging cuts through.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some of the results? I know we're jumping around here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is what I always say to prospective clients is that we generally get I think this is increasing, and this is again, you increase the levers, but 20 to 30% connection acceptance rate,
Mm-hmm.
which can increase. As an example, I ran a campaign to recruiters for Blackjet, and my acceptance rate was, I think, 50 to 60%,
Amazing.
which they must
And I think you generated what, in 3 weeks you've generated how,
to
I was going to say,
10-ish meetings or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
10 plus meetings
yeah,
out of that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the value against each of those is huge.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then out of that, we kind of expect around 10, I hope I got the numbers right, 10 to 15 warm replies a
Yeah, I
month.
think we say sometimes it could be more than that.
Could be
I mean,
more.
it also depends, because we had one client where we dropped their LinkedIn outreach campaign, started it, and within 24 hours they had one appointment, which was worth $500,000 for that client.
Yeah.
And so we can run it on both ways. We can do both really highly targeted small volume. We can do higher volume, higher opportunity rate.
Mm,
So
mm,
we might say 5 to 25, really good quality.
mm,
Um, we also pulled the data for a client recently where we had generated 11 really warm opportunities within 1 month.
mm,
5 of them were, yes, I'll have a meeting with you right now.
mm,
And then 6 of them were, my insurance renewal date is October this year. Please call me in 6 months' time. Please do this, please do that. So they were all opportunities for later,
mm.
which is
It's all
important.
super important.
Talking about the here and now. The other thing that comes up for me when we're talking about outreach and systems and what makes us unique is the pursuit of seeking new horizons all the time, both for us and our clients. So recently we thought it would be worthwhile trying a different approach for outreach. So we turned off our Blackjet outreach.
Mm,
And in that pursuit, we spent 3 weeks and a huge amount of time and money and resource investing in and exploring, trying to get this new outreach system to work.
mm,
So we had no leads for 3 weeks.
mm,
We then said, no, line in the sand, it hasn't worked. I was very direct and very quick, was like, nope, I'm done. This is it. We need to go back. We went back within, I can't remember the exact stats, but within 24 hours of turning our original outreach
mm,
system on, we had a whole bunch of appointments booked.
mm,
And it was working. So that's the kind of methodology or systems thinking that we will employ in Blackjet, where we'll go and seek those new horizons so our clients don't have to spend that money, time, resource.
mm,
It was at our expense, but now we know that the system that we're deploying is the best
mm.
one.
I think just to look back to your question around answering the uniqueness, which was my question to you as well. And we spoke about extracting the strategy, and then we spoke about the sales psychology. I think the last thing, which to be honest, I'm still evolving, and it's kind of part of my remit and part of what I'm trying to achieve is that sales process, closing. A lot of our clients, and it's a New Zealand thing. New Zealand is very relationship driven, and once they get, and Australians are the same. To be fair, we're pretty much the same, really.
Don't know if the
Couple of
Australians
differences.
would say that.
but once they get in front of someone, they're pretty confident of developing that relationship, and I totally agree with that. But I think that where I see it and where we're helping is we're helping some clients by managing their reply inbox.
So being them.
Yep. And we have turned around some replies that just say thanks to a discovery call by our system. Got to keep some stuff for,
Yes.
for how we do things. And then I think the other part, which we're doing more with those clients, is holding them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So we have no problem with telling a client you need to follow up on that lead. Now, why haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be quite firm
Mm-hmm.
to help them.
Mm.
Um,
But it's only because we're in partnership and we're on a journey together, and that
Totally.
there's that genuine care
Yeah.
of we actually want you to succeed and close this out.
Yeah.
Because you win, we win.
Because this is not we don't charge per lead or any of that sort of rubbish. Once you partner, we're all in,
Mm.
and we want to get to your target and some more.
Mm-hmm.
So we will do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
To get there.
Mm. It really is a privilege to work with these businesses when they're all in.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And it just feels that we can make such a big impact for really such a little investment.
Yes.
So for those who have kind of got to this point very quickly, it's a retainer, we're all in, you get the whole system, everything done for you, and we can measure the results, and you can see your guaranteed, you can guarantee see your ROI very, very clearly. The other thing that does come up for me is that this does work really well for founder-led sales. It does work well when there's a salesperson. It possibly for some people is a little bit exposing.
In what way?
Let's say we go and generate a whole bunch of opportunities, speaking to the accountability piece, and then it's oh, hey client, these opportunities here haven't been followed up on. It's quite exposing, and it's a little bit uncomfortable, maybe, where they might start to see some little like holes or flaws in their sales process. But we're not there to expose them and call them out and make them feel bad that they're doing a terrible job. Our job is to, how can we support you? How can we help? How can we insert systems and technology to solve this problem for you?
Exactly.
And I always say connection over correction, right? So connect in, how can we help? Versus going in and saying, hey, your salesperson is not converting all these deals.
Yep.
So, Mike, how do you want to wrap up today? It feels like we've gone on quite the journey, acknowledging that there's still so much to share. Was there anything that you feel that maybe we might have missed today that we would want to share?
I think there's a lot in today.
Mm.
I think there's a lot more we can talk about.
Mm.
But I think I would just loop it back, even though we've spoken a lot about the sales process and the uniqueness and all that sort of stuff of what we've built. It still comes back to the emotional why. Why are we doing this? Why would clients want to join our journey? And being quite emotionally invested, I guess my journey and your journey, we've had the ups and downs, and we've learnt a lot about the emotional highs and lows of entrepreneurialism, and leading teams and all that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Yeah, we can talk all about the uniqueness of what we do, but really, it's the, put it this way, maybe this is a way to wrap it up. We had a recent client who's just signed on who basically said that we love your, and make sure I've got this right, your passion, your enthusiasm, your commitment. Were those the words that that they used?
And energy. They said that they
Energy.
really loved our energy
Yeah.
because sorry, carry on.
No, no.
Because they felt that they could really see that genuine passion for
Yeah.
wanting to be on this journey with them.
Yeah.
Um, and what we have built at Blackjet is unique. Nobody is doing it yet. So there is a bit of an education piece around what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's a sales and marketing system that is not that complicated in what it does in terms of
Each
the
little piece.
outcomes. It's the way each little piece interacts with each other that makes it unique.
Mm.
So I recently showed it to somebody in one of the big fours. And they said, well, I come from a marketing background and a sales background, and I've never seen anyone put together what you've put together.
Mm.
What you've done is quite unique, and it all works together.
Mm.
You can also pick and mix it too. Start
Mm.
with one piece and then go on a bit of a journey. But it really is, it goes back to how can we help other business owners have more freedom of time, increased gross margin, increased net profit,
Feeling successful.
feeling
Things we touched on at the
successful,
beginning.
not playing because it's a proven methodology, but playing in this AI space and knowing that they're embracing a new way of doing business, which is only going to accelerate them forward faster.
Mm. Should we leave it there?
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Enjoy the chat.